Okay, we're here with our student Luke talking about estimation. And we're going to talk about why estimation makes calculations easier and how to use estimation in the real world. So you ready, Luke?
Yep.
Okay, so first let's look at why we use estimation. So one of the reasons is to take a hard problem like this. We have 10.89 something 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 plus 14.06789. That would be a pretty hard problem to do by hand, right? It would take you a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably don't want to go to all the trouble of doing that. If you need an exact answer, you would probably use a calculator to do that problem. But a lot of times you don't have a calculator and you don't need an exact answer, and that's why you can use estimation. And what we do with estimation is we find an easier way to do it by looking at what the numbers are approximately equal to. So you can see that 10.89 and these rest of these numbers, that's kind of close to 11, right? If you round it up? Okay. And how about 14.0678? That's kind of close to what?
14.
So then you have a much easier problem here, right? 11 plus 14, and you could probably do mental math for that to get to 25. And that kind of thing is really much easier than trying to add these numbers up here. And a lot of times you would use that in the real world to make your life easier. So what is it that we did? Our strategy here is first to round the numbers to make them easier to work with, and then you perform your calculation. So why should you care about this? Well, really, there's a couple of reasons at least. First of all, it makes your life easier. You don't have to do all that calculation that you would do if you added these two numbers up here. You just have to do this. It's much faster. Make fewer mistakes. See, you can catch your mistakes also by, if you did have to do this problem up here or enter it into a calculator and you accidentally miss the decimal point and you put 140.6789, then you would get a number that's something like 150, and then you would say, well, wait a second, when I estimated this, it was about 25, so maybe I made a mistake. So that's another good reason to use estimation. And finally, you use it in the real world. So let's go over here to this side and look at an actual problem. We'll go ahead and read through this together. You own a bicycle manufacturing company, and you're thinking of buying more factories, okay?
Okay.
Your colleague calls you and tells you about 2 factories that she's found as an option, okay? One factory you're considering has manufactured 1,962 bicycles a month, so a big number there. The other factory has manufactured 1,092 bicycles a month. Now, while you have your colleague on the phone, without a calculator, you want to estimate how many bicycles a year these 2 new factories could make together. So how many were they making up here? Can you repeat it for me?
1,962.
And was that during a year or how frequently?
In a month.
In a month. So to get how many this first factory did in a year, what would you have to do?
Multiply by 4. 12.
Yeah, by 12, right? And the same thing with this other one. Now, multiplying 1,962 by 12, that's not a really hard thing to do, but you just have your colleague on the phone, you don't have a calculator, you don't have a pencil, you want to estimate instead. So what is 1,962 kind of close to?
2,000.
2,000. And how about 1,092? What's that kind of close to?
1,000.
Okay, yeah. So let's take a look down here. You could multiply 12 times each one of those numbers, but that would be a real pain while you're on the phone with your colleague. So instead, you can just multiply 12 times 2,000 and 12 times 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, can you think of a way to make it even easier? 12 times 2,000, what if you just did 12 times 2 plus 12 times 1, and that would be in thousands, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Oops. And then, so then we have 12 times 2, you can see is 24, and 12 times 1 is just 12. And you add those together, you can probably do that with mental math, right? And you get 36. So then just on the phone with your colleague there, you could quickly do this calculation in your head, and you would say, about how many bicycles can these 2 factories together make in a year?
Yeah.
How many is that, do you think?
36,000.
36,000, that's right. And all that was really quick. because you were using estimation instead of doing the actual calculations. So 36,000 bicycles is your answer. So you see how estimation can be really useful?
Yep.
Okay, great.